is it Happy Canada Day? Something in Canada, I think today, because it's right around the 4th of July. I just don't want to get a tariff for saying that, so I won't say it. I redact my statement. What's going on, YouTube world? Michael, Steve, Dave, Vincenzo at some point. He's trying to find the new load of Spacely sprockets to do something with and make something run somewhere. Maybe on a crane, perhaps, in the Great White North. IRP 236. I'd say we can have tips on the national, but I saw Card Collector 2 had a dumb video for like 50 minutes of that. I didn't actually see or watch it. I saw as I scrolled and I said, this is we're in Elmer's glue territory now. The glue is dried and it's flakes. I mean, a couple of years ago it was funny. It's getting old quick with the Nationals tips. If you don't know what to do at a fucking card show by now, you're stupid. Plain and simple, you're an idiot. But talk about some of the 4th of July festivities, and again, shockingly, I'm not a holiday person, so I just don't do much, especially with the store. It usually falls somewhere on a day where I have freight or have to do something to order freight, and this year it's Friday, and I'm hoping to God that we get the truck Thursday night. Of course, nobody would tell me because that doesn't make any sense. And that will determine what I do for Friday morning's load, even if it's a massive weekend for business. I'm not going to work myself into the ground because my boss is a blithering idiot and dipshit that doesn't fucking know how to run a business. But yeah, it's no fun working at a retail outlet that sells food on a food holiday.
No.
So
I will be making some poor man burn ends. I bought when I was up in Iowa at that Dutchman store. I bought a big giant package. It's like 4 pounds of all beef hot dogs.
Okay.
And I will be making my poor man burn ends out of those. Not all of them. I won't do 4 pounds worth because I don't think Alicia and I are having anybody over. But make up a nice small pan of those. And then I'm going to make cheesy taters.
I was going to say either taters or mac.
Yep. I'm going to go cheesy taters because normally I would go mac. But I haven't done cheesy taters before. Hopefully they'll be close to as good as Belly Down. I had some from there today. I went there and picked up the Barnyard, which is a fried chicken sandwich with ham and provolone on it.
Oh.
And got some cheesy taters with it. It is pretty much perfect lunch.
Yeah, you can't really fuck up ham. Yeah. Anything with ham on it.
Yeah, when you put it on another meat, that's a fried chicken.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, not going to go wrong there.
No. No, I don't know. I think the 4th, Trista will be out at her parents because they're, I think, where they go because her dad was in Vietnam, so he doesn't particularly care much for the fireworks, and I fully get that.
For sure.
So I think they go down to, I think the cities, and I don't know if Fort Snelling's got something down there for that or what, but so she'll be out there, and I'll probably go out there. I don't know what time, mid morning, Saturday after ordering at work. So go out there, and they're on the lake, but it's about not by her place. It's about an hour. I don't know if it's west, but again, there's no direct west road, so I've got to go like southwest and then come northwest, and down there, I'm further north than you, Joe. I know you're in Toronto proper, but if you look at the whatever longitude, latitude, it's Ely's up there. Cuban sandwich, yeah, that is a winner. There's a company up here makes a Cuban pizza, and it's pretty good. I like it. Again, not something I'd probably eat all the time, but.
Have you had Birria's pizza?
Not.
Me neither. I didn't know it was a thing until I saw a reel and I came across it, and I'm like, well, I need that. Because Birria's tacos are one of my favorite things.
Technically. No, I know I am, Joe. I know.
I would be shocked if my sister isn't making deviled eggs to take somewhere. I feel like she does that on the 4th of July and then Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I won't mind deviled eggs. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is for food. They'll go to work.
Yeah, we're off Friday, and then we go to work. We're only open from 7:30 to noon on Monday. It makes no sense. But whatever. I'll take a half day off.
Yeah, that's.
You would think that they would be open till noon on Thursday and then just roll it into it, but I don't know why that isn't the case this year. I know the base is doing their fireworks and everything on the 3rd.
Yeah, a lot of that up here is like that. I think where Trist is at in Gilbert, the town right over from there in Eveleth, and there's like one more, and I don't remember where. I got like the 3rd of July stuff, like all the time. It's not just like this year. It's
Yeah.
which I think is good because again, if you want to enjoy that stuff, there's options. You're not just sitting there. Everybody competes on the 4th, and you're never
Right.
going to.
Yeah, base. I don't know that base has ever done it. Not since I was a kid growing up on base have they done the actual fireworks and everything on the 4th of July. It's always been a day or two prior.
Okay.
But when I was a kid, I mean, that's on base. That's what you do. They have festivities all day long, and then when it gets dark, they do the fireworks show. And we wouldn't go to it because it was always over at the base lake. We wouldn't actually go over there for the fireworks show. We would stay at home and just climb on our roof and watch it from there. That way you don't have to deal with all the people.
Yeah, I don't.
And my parents really didn't care about it to begin with. So us kids, we would just climb on the shed, which allowed us to climb on the carport, which allowed us to walk on the roof.
Again, I like fireworks. That will be one of the 5 on the list. But at the same time, it gets to the point of I'm seeing the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool, but at the same time, I'm not getting here. We have them down by one of the lakes, right on the very edge of town. And I mean, there's spots to watch, but you've got to basically be there 8:30, and they go off at 10. I'm not sitting where there's like mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Very little wind. A lot of people, and trying to get out of there, it's a clusterfuck. So, I'm just like no, and no. So, I can see them sort of from my window because as you go to town to I think it'd be the southwest. It's going up an incline, so I can see them, but usually again I've got to be up in the morning, so I'd rather try to get to sleep. So,
yeah.
And again, it's fireworks. I'd rather have Roman candles and all the fun little shit that costs way too much and is either shooting stuff at somebody or something, or throwing like jumping jacks. Because if you hit it right, those fuckers will just take off.
Mm-hmm.
Like flipping a coin, they will go. And then like M80s, cherry bombs, stuff that's gonna actually do some potent damage. Not like a mortar, because I'm not gonna be dealing with. I'm not Jason Pierre-Paul. I want to keep everything intact. So I want to just throw something in the bush, and the bush shreds or something. Like, okay, that's fun. Do a few of those, and I'm done. I don't need to sit there for hours and make it look like a battlefield out there. That's.
I remember being up in Iowa when I was a young kid for a few different 4th of Julys, because that's used to be when we would have our family reunion up in Iowa. Was 4th of July, and I remember cousins and uncles and everything shooting each other with Roman candles. They would have Roman candle wars. Now, I was too young to participate. Probably a good thing, because nothing good comes from that. But it's crazy because they would have a big, huge fireworks show and everything. Everybody messing around. Fireworks were illegal in Iowa. Yet, one night, the cops didn't care. Because that's a huge thing. You'll still see them now. Now they're kind of closed down businesses. But going up to Iowa, the last towns before you cross the border from Missouri into Iowa, there was always businesses selling fireworks right there on the state line. People would come down, load up their trunk, and drive back.
Yep.
Now they do that. They all kind of converted from fireworks businesses to alcohol and tobacco. Cigarettes and everything are way cheaper in Missouri than they are in Iowa. So that's what people, those little hole in the wall towns with nobody in them, have businesses just selling cigarettes.
I think not NASCAR. North Dakota. North Dakota's got that too. And I've heard people go over there if they're on their way over that way, load up and come back. I know Wisconsin's got I won't say the good fireworks, but a lot better. I remember Missouri having, because I think we stayed, I don't know, like a Campground of America in '91 when we were on our way down south to visit all my dad's family, and that's where we got the M80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to throw this quick. This can't be something you're like looking at as it's like going at you. When I light it, you chuck it.
Yeah, all one motion, light and throw.
I said, okay. and it was like boom, and it like went just past like the picnic table and exploded. I'm like, okay, I'm now aware of how quick that fuse goes, and that's, I mean, lit off maybe like 6 more, and like, okay, well, I'm good. We've pushed the limits of luck,
Yep.
and nothing's happened.
Because every now and then one of those wicks does not last long enough.
No,
You light it and it blows up immediately.
yeah, and I don't want to be, like I said, Jim Abbott and have like all this, try to throw a curveball with a stub. I don't want to be
He
Franklin
got a
Stubb.
no-hitter.
Well, he did, but if you look at his
He
career,
also hit a home run.
his career ERA though is, I mean, again, impressive for what was given to him. So I don't take any of that away, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to have the physical attributes of Jim Abbott, where I'm whatever 6'4" and I can still pitch and go to the University of Michigan, and I think he was on the USA team, and so I'd say 90s. So I'm going single decade. That's what I've basically been doing. It's just add any cards to your collection, Hodges. I'd be. There's a lot of variety. Cheap Hall of Fame rookie cards, autos that are on card, jersey or football or mask or base cards or whatever. Base might be like 2000, but at the same time, anything game used, more than likely, again until proven otherwise, it was game used then. The serial numbered cards, some you can get for a lot cheaper than something like a Panini Prism now. If you're looking at like a, I don't know, even a something like that 99 to 149, where that might cost like 20-30 bucks for getting like a middle tier player. You can get Hall of Fame guys from back then, not like a Griffey, Barry Sanders, Gretzky. Some of that stuff you can't get for that cheap, obviously, but there's a lot of value there if you, like we've said multiple times, if you take the time, just go back, sift through stuff, just look up. You type in Barry Sanders, type in Lemieux, Favre, Geiserman, Broder, Waugh. I mean, any of these guys, Griffey, Frank Thomas. There's a lot of cool stuff out there with a lot of different patterns, a lot of different materials, a lot of different. It's not the normal 2.5 by 3.5 card or whatever the dimensions are. It's die cuts, acetate, dot matrix, laser cut. There's the Topps lasers got those booklets, like the little flap thing with the baseball.
Yeah.
96, I think. I mean, there's some shit out there that you're just like.
Pacific had the foul pole net.
Yep. I mean, we talked with Mike Kramer. We talked multiple times with Jeff Morris. I mean, we've said it every time. We don't say it because they're on or we now are friends with them or whatever. It's because that was the coolest shit out there. You had.
I love the Pinnacle Aficionado set with the burn-in images. I love cool. That product.
And then when you had, what was it? The Ultra had like a wooden type card, like the Home Run King.
Diamond Producers was wood with the black felt border.
Yeah, the 97 or 98.
Yeah.
So I've got Piazza of that, and that I think costs like $60, but it's like
one of the coolest.
Four different things on one card.
Yeah.
Materials and otherwise, it's like, so yeah, 90s, 80s. I'd lose interest so quick.
feel like those diamond producers were 1 out of 360 or 720. They were really difficult to pull. I never pulled one.
Oh fuck! Yeah. And then I never really bought Ultra. That was one thing. I mean, '92 when I came out with like the gold, like the foil that was like above or below the name. And I think it was the Tony Gwynn or the Eckersley inserts.
Highlights.
That stuff was fun.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, as it went on, it's like there's just too much to go for.
Yeah. And diamond producers went from that to being plastic acetate cards. Brett Hager, he built the set of those that were the die cut plastic that are gorgeous. And he bought a Griffey Raw off of eBay and graded it, and it went PSA 10, which made it worth substantially more money.
98 is the one in 288, but that was still at the time a case hit.
Okay.
So 97 was like the vertical pinstripes, and I think it was that gray background.
Yes.
Because I've been looking at.
Yeah, it looked like it should be lenticular, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it was sort of like a matte finish.
Yeah, it was a weird wallpaper look.
But I've been looking because I've been picking up.
That is one of my favorite sets right there. That rookie set. They are so freaking cool. I've got the A-Rod of that somewhere.
That's one, again, most of these will be sets at some point in life that...
They're numbered out of 5,000, weren't they? Or was it 10?
5.
Okay.
The rookie team Pinnacle.
Those are sweet.
Derek Lee Sig. High gloss. Dumba to 10. You can't see it really somewhere.
That's a nice card.
I love these. I mean, I had a Rondell White, and I never wanted to trade it because it looked so stupidly good.
Yep. Man, that's beautiful.
So I've been picking up a lot of Delgado. Again, just going through and that's the thing. There's so many players in the 90s you can sift through and not kill your bank account.
No.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't want to pay under or over $5 for like a card. There's a couple I know I'm going to have to. SP Hollowview die cut 94. I'm not going to pay $5. I want to, but that's just not going to be a thing that happens. I've picked up like a Steve Carsey. God, who else? Man, was Listash? Listash might have been in there. It's been a few I've picked up, and they've all cost like $7-8 because again, that's still a set that if you know about that set from when we were 14, 15, just turning to teenagers or maybe just graduating high school, that was like the puberty of baseball card sets. I mean, you're opened up to something completely brand new when you're like, okay, you got the A-Rod rookie, but then that Hollowview and that Hollowview was like, okay, Upper Deck had already had that a little bit with football, the All Pros, but then you have that strip across and you have the player overlay on the hologram strip, and then add the red die cut.
Yeah. And
then the die cut set, or the set has A-Rod as a rookie and Jordan.
Yep.
I
only had one card from that set, and I bought it at a mall card show. We were just happened to be in the mall walking around, and there was a card show going on. And my parents bought me the Jose Canseco. And I loved it. But unfortunately, that's when he was with the Rangers, not with the A's, which is obviously what I wanted.
Yep.
But I had and it wasn't the red one. It was just the regular. I never owned any of the red die cuts. Because back then A-Rod was who I was collecting, but they cost so much money. And then when the reds on top of that, A-Rod was a $500 or $1,000 card.
Yeah, you were.
It was him, Griffey, and Jordan.
Yeah, if you pulled any one of those, you were sitting pretty.
Yep. Now looking back, it would be awesome to have Bonds. But Bonds didn't sell for a lot of money during that time.
No, he was, I'd say, like a Tony Gwynn. Him and Tony Gwynn were about neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one I had, Trot Nixon. That was the one I remember getting. Because it says 1 in 5, but again, trying to find the pack. It wasn't like SP was sitting in your local, like a Walgreens or whatever you had for a.
And they were not cheap packs.
No. That's when we're hitting like $6 a pack, and it's like, ooh. No, I don't know if I can do that.
I remember the first time I saw Upper Deck packs. It was at a Hy-Vee. In my hometown, they had 2 Hy-Vees. They had a north side and a south side. And my grandma worked at the north side. And we would always stop in there on our way out of town to say goodbye to my grandma. And they had Upper Deck packs there at the cash registers. And I remember they were $3 or $4 a pack. Well, my parents were definitely not buying me that. Because they're like, well, why? You can get these ones here, 75 cents or $1 at most for, Fleer and Donruss and stuff like that. But to see those foil packs that were legit foil and they felt different, and I never opened one.
That'll be something at one of the nationals we'll have to buy. See if we can find some, was it 91, 92 basketball, Larry and Zoe and Mark Macon and all them fuckheads that, like, I remember the guys, my dad, I think, work studied when we moved to Superior for the UWS football team, to doing like the equipment manager and all that shit. Again, just to be around football. He didn't care that Christ, he was at the time like 50-ish years old, an equipment manager. It's like, I love football and I know what I'm doing and it doesn't matter, just to be around it. Being on the team buses, and they had their busting packs of Upper Deck football, and like, God, this is cool. And again, it's like people getting amped for Dan McGuire and fucking Todd Marinovich. I'm like, oh, you go Dan McGuire. Oh man, you're so lucky. It's like, no, you just wasted literally any amount of money on 91 Upper Deck. Anything you pay for football is a waste. But yeah, it's just that whole decade of.
Yeah, I want to say I didn't open any Upper Deck packs until probably 94. I think 94 would have probably been the first Upper Deck baseball packs that I opened. Maybe 93, but I think it was 94. Because that was the star rookies with, again, A-Rod and Jordan.
90. I would have done some 91. That was Van Poppel. 92, some, but not much. Because the rookie class wasn't, it was Kletzko, but that wasn't driving anything. 92 Fleer Jumbos were driving because the rookie sensations. 93, for sure, because that was, Jeter was Series 2. And then I think that was the Selleck, Frank Thomas, like Mr.
Yes, Mr. Baseball.
Yeah. Like
yeah.
whatever. And then 91 was the Jordan batting. And I think.
And wasn't it also like the motion card of Nolan Ryan?
I was going to say, I thought the
And
Nolan
Deion
Ryan.
Sanders.
That was Deion running.
You have Deion horizontal running, and you had Nolan Ryan vertical pitching. And
somebody else had like a base card too that was like a three view or 3 image. I don't remember because it always said like in the bracket, like in parentheses, like the 3 times, like next to the name, and it's like, so you're putting
who was it?
A value on something that really doesn't need value just because they have fun photography with it, and they never really went back to that.
No.
Which
was it? Was it maybe Eckersley?
It might have been. I don't even remember.
Okay.
Yeah, Henderson might have had stealing the base too. But that stuff was just. Again, I love the Star Rookie logo that they had back then, or the top prospect. It looked like the secret agents. It looked like top secret on the printing, and I'm like, I like that. So I wish they would have stuck with that stuff. Again, it just sort of got watered down as.
Yeah, again, Nolan was in his Astros. Obviously, Deion Sanders was Braves. And
I could see Henderson like in the A's. I could see like just like peeling off the base to steal, like the chugging. And then you had like the.
Yep. 91 Upper Deck Ricky Henderson. Let's see if I can.
Yep.
Yep, that's it.
And again, I love that. I love that. Just it's so simple, but it works.
This copy right here is a PSA 10, and the buy it now is $76.50. I spent $80 worse ways.
I have 2, but I think I'll take the raw copy for $1 plus self-addressed PWE.
$1.65 or best offer.
I just say
free delivery.
That's not one I want to be on like the top of the pop chart and
no.
anything like that. That Mike says 93 Upper Deck Hawk.
Oh,
Andre Johnson. I don't know.
Let's look that up.
But yeah, then the inserts came and like the Walter Yoss or Ios or whatever collection.
I love those cards.
And I
haven't.
Great. Still like the Stadium Club. And again, not because of the shit we always talk about, but it's like seeing Nolan Ryan in the $1.50 pack I had just purchased from Ben Franklin in the tuxedo.
It's Andre Dawson diving.
Okay.
93 Upper Deck.
There we go.
That's a cool card.
Now we stand corrected.
There was way more than we thought.
That's what happens when you get older. A lot of those thoughts that you thought you had are no longer relevant.
Yeah. I have in a shoebox somewhere, I have one of the Walter Ios cards of George Brett that was a buyback autograph from Upper Deck Authentic.
Okay.
It's in a box, but the only the problem with it is somebody had pushed something, like it was set on something hard or something one time, like a pebble or something in the back, so it has a pop-up on the front of the card. But the photography in that specific set was gorgeous. And I don't even know how hard they were to pull.
I don't
I don't
remember.
remember because I felt like I had pulled some.
Yeah, I think you got a couple of box anyway.
I know I had some. I know I didn't have the Griffey.
Yeah, one every 9 packs, so it wasn't like.
I feel like I had Frank Thomas.
And again, there's a wide variety of players. You got Salmon, Bagwell, McGuire, Robbie Almer, Avery, Molitor, Ozzie, Grace, Karros, DeShields, Clark, Joey Bell, Griffey, Hojo, Ripken, McGriff, Dutch Dalton, Van Slyke, Nolan Ryan, John Boggs, Wade Boggs, Barry Larkin, Brett, Cecil Fielder, Puckett, Big Hurt, Mattingly, and then I remember like the title card or the header.
Yep. There's a Ripken. I had the Ripken. I remember that card.
My favorite set out of that or insert out of that year was that Then and Now, which I'm still trying to piece together that set.
That was 92 or
93.
93 Upper Deck. No.
The hologram where it had like the old, like the rookie year picture of him as the regular, and then the hologram was like the newer one. I still pick those up. Again, seeing those back then was like, oh my God. That is amazing. No, Paul, I think it's the truth or what he wants to be the truth. Yeah, I think Montana had one in 91 Upper Deck. That was like the horizontal, like of him throwing, I think. Yeah, but those SPs that they had, yeah, it just, yeah, Ozzy, I think, was in the the Padres. So that's where he played his first few years. The 91, I've looked, Taj, is that,
well, I'm going to have to pick that up.
That Dream Team stuff from 91, I remember getting that as the full set for Christmas, the factory set. And I hate the motion cards because I like trivia, but I don't need all those little, they just were in the way.
Yeah.
Give me another couple cards. But the Jose Canseco Dream Team card.
The shirtless one?
Where he's got the bat up and I'm like.
Yeah, I had that card.
The All-Star cards, which were the cartoon caricature cards. I love the Top Prospect. Wes Chamberlain. I think Ed's favorite Rico Bronya was in there.
Yeah.
The draft pick cards, you had Mark Newfield. God, who the hell else was 91? Besides Van Poppel, he was in there. And again, I just want to get the set. I like to get two of them. One to open to like put in a binder, and one to just keep sealed. So again, there's nothing in there that's like chipper. I sell that $5 or $4 for that back in 07. But there's everything else. Mussina's got a rookie in there. I don't think there's much of, again, besides your normal run of the mill Hall of Fame guys, Ripken, Nolan.
I just found a card that I did not know existed. It's from 1997 Upper Deck. It's a Walter Ios football card. Super Bowl I between the Packers and the Chiefs. It's an incredible photo. I did not know. That is a really cool card.
I don't know if I've seen those.
Yeah, it's called Super Bowl Memories by Walter Ios. Yeah, it's from 1997 Upper Deck. It was in the base set. It's card number 179. 99 cents.
I know there's been a lot worse ways you spent $1, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Keiko Dream Team was the only. It looks like the only Series 1 Dream Team. And again, whatever this is, 18 years ago. Booking at 15 cents. But that's, and then the no hitter cards. I was going to say that too. Because that's how I learned about, there he is, Andy Hawkins for the Yankees lost the no hitter against the White Sox because they had like 3 errors.
Huh.
So, and I think later on it was changed, but still.
Yeah.
And then the Cooperstown set, I remember that because that came in the factory set. So you had Boggs, Larkin, Griffey, Ricky, Brett, Clark, and Nolan. It was sort of that white, like the old, like a presidential or somebody of prestige, like their portrait where their face is in that oval in the middle, and then it's like white on the outside top. It says Cooperstown.
Huh.
And again, that stuff, I know it's never going to go up. We'll always be sentimental to that type of that era because again, that's the stuff we remember with our friends, with our families, wherever we were at. We can remember busting packs or trading for something, going through Missouri, seeing a card shop up on a hill, and that's I think where we got the fireworks because the fireworks tent was at the end of the the parking lot. Going in there, getting a 1990, I don't know if it was like CCM or whatever the minor league cards were. It was like the yellow border, but a white and yellow border because it was a little better on the front than some of those other ones. And getting Juan Gonzalez, a Gastonia Rangers card. I was just jacked. I'm like, fuck, this is awesome. This is gotta be like a $10 card. I'm like, no, it's like 3, but just remembering that stuff, and then like at some point I will get that card again, probably a graded copy because I know that stuff was made of pretty much nothing for like the quantity or the quality of the paper it was on. So, but yeah, it's not. The 92 would probably be a little tougher because people would be sitting there, and I think there was what autograph chances, which, oh yeah, the DiMaggio, a chance to get like the autograph DiMaggio, which like, okay, and then Mantle Musial and Yaz too, which again, if if you get them, buy a lottery ticket, but the chances of actually pulling something out of there is slim to none because I think they printed more of that than they did of 87 tops.
Yeah.
I mean, it was everywhere. Woolworth, KB, again, drugstores, corner stores, like your gas stations. I mean, I've said it before, we had a furniture place in town that actually had cards for sale too in like 95 because you went there and you get Fleer jumbo football packs. Okay. Full of Lee Woodall rookie sensations, and that was like the embossed, the white one with like sort of like the not bubbles, but like a grit of a sandpaper. And I'm like, who in the fuck is Lee Woodall? I have what is this? I'm like, Marshall Falk is in here, and I'm pulling Lee fucking Woodall. Again, this is well before internet up in northeastern Minnesota. Street and Smith or Lindy's or Athlon Sports was putting out yearly football guides that I was able to get. Sporting News maybe would have been able to find, maybe in Duluth, or Virginia. You weren't finding it in Ely. So no, it wasn't. That's incorrect, Joe. I did not know about the packs because that's my buddy had pulled the Falk rookie sensations. I think when we got together and for like trading or whatever, and he brought his cards out, I'm like, what the hell is this? And then the Woodall, that just topped the cake. I'm like, yeah, good. Because again, the base cards were just atrocious in '95. They're so busy, like the sort of like the X Games, sort of like extreme. Everything's extreme, like lots of color and splashes and bullshit. And it's like, nah. Inserts are a little better. Base cards were like the baseball ones. That '95 is quite possibly one of the worst years of all time for Fleer.
I remember buying. I had to look it up because I remember the card, but I couldn't remember the year. But it was '94 Score. Buying the jumbo packs of those that had the Gold Rush cards in it, and I remember the best Gold Rush I pulled was the Frank Thomas, the horizontal, of course. Come on, do better, be better. It ain't gonna. It doesn't really want to focus that glare. But I remember pulling this horizontal Frank Thomas Gold Rush card, and it might. I mean, it was probably only worth a couple bucks back then, but to me, when I pulled it, I was like, it felt like I pulled $100 card because it was just so cool, and those sets were so big, it was hard to get a good name.
Yep.
And so whenever I got the Frank Thomas, I'm like, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah, when you have like 700 card or 700 card plus sets.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you've got, again, he pitched forever, but like the Jesse Orosco's, that was like your top end middle reliever then. So just imagine if he's in the set constantly.
Him and John Franco.
Yeah. You got those guys that are like, okay, at least I know the name. But then you've got guys that you're looking at the back of the card. It's like a Rich Gedman, I remember from like the '88 Score. It's like, I have no idea who this is. And he's a prospect. It says top prospect, and he's a Red Sox. Okay, let me look at the back. Pawtucket, Boston, Pawtucket, Boston, Pawtucket, Boston. I'm like, how are you a top prospect after 3 years of trying to get to the big leagues?
Yep, still considered a prospect because he hasn't played enough games to be considered a rookie.
Well, I know. I
know. I'm just saying it's crazy.
I'm just like, top prospect is usually somebody that's coming in and a Greg Jeffries of that time frame. Yep. Somebody, Ventura when he got drafted. It's like, not
Phil Nevin.
Yeah, Nevin. Anybody, Brian Taylor, even though he shouldn't go to bars.
Yep.
It was like Cliff Lloyd was the same way when he got hurt. Me? No, come on, Mike. I wish I was. I know that was one thing I did in school when I was bored. I'd sit there and try to design cards again. Doing it freehand, it's on notebook paper. It really didn't allow much visual creativity, but Ty. If Ty was employed by them, Fleer would have been out of business much earlier. Sorry, Ty. Yeah, some of those years, again, you go back and look at it. It's I think 95 tops too. That's another set that's a real busy set. It doesn't have the good photography like Stadium Club. Because I think they had the Stat Master? Something was in there. That was just like, ugh. Cyberstats.
There were a lot of bad cards in that era.
yeah, way too much. Like free creativity and some of the stuff. It's like, why? How do you? What made you think that people are gonna want it? I'm like, there was no real creativity. So for some of it,
That was the era of there are no stupid questions.
no, we will keep throwing stuff against the wall and finding what sticks. Tops. I'm looking at some of these 95, 96. They're just like the 1 in 4, 1 in 6 type of rate. And it's just basically even a less appealing card than the base card design. So that's just like, But yeah, that would be the decade, the 90s. As you can tell, after going on for 50 minutes of chatting, that's probably always going to be the one where I can gravitate. I've got the most information.
Well, and to me, it just felt like there were more stars. And I don't know if that's just a product of they were better at promoting and celebrating players back then. Whereas now, I mean, the only thing anybody ever talks about in baseball is Otani and Skeens. Those are the only two guys getting any kind of traction as far as, any kind of talking about them. Whereas back then in the 90s, I mean, it seemed like every team had like 3 or 4 dudes that people talked about.
Yeah, when you look down that, like the Mariners roster.
Mariners alone. Yeah, Griffey, A-Rod, Buhner, Edgar, Randy. Well, and I just remember I never missed All-Star games back then either.
No.
Watched the home run derbies, and I watched the All-Star games themselves. Back when the players wore their team uniform when they played. They just had a special patch on the hat or on the sleeve of the uniform, but they wore their actual team jersey when they played, and the teams weren't, you didn't have a bunch of guys on the team that were like nowadays where people make the All-Star game and it's not really that big a deal. And guys only play like 1, maybe 2 at bats these days, where back then, no, your starters played.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like there was more pride in winning back then.
No, because like the last All-Star game I really remember watching, besides I think Miller Park when Torrey Hunter robbed the home run.
Yeah.
And like the tie game. Yep. Other than that, the last thing I remember is Camden Yards in like 93.
Yeah. I remember 01 really well just because it was the year I was graduating high school. And the A-Rod was a Mariner, and the Mariners were hosting the All-Star game that year. And then that was also the year of Ichiro. But I remember that was Cal Ripken Jr.'s last All-Star game.
Okay.
And they grooved that fastball to him in the first inning, and he hit a home run in his final All-Star game appearance. I remember that big time. And then I remember, I'm trying to remember the year where Pedro struck out the first 5 guys he faced. That was maybe 99.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I feel like it was 99. I feel like it was the year after the home run chase. Because Pedro just smoked Sosa, McGuire. It was like the first 5 guys he struck out. Because that was Pedro had that stretch of 4 or 5 years where he might be the best 4 or 5 years in baseball history, considering the era in which he was putting up those numbers was in the steroid era. Very minuscule ERA.
I think the only other time I remember anything All-Star game wise, 05 home run derby. I think Comerica or Tiger, whatever the hell it is now. Some right fielder for the
Comerica.
right fielder for the Phillies going off for about like 41 home runs in the home run derby. Mr. Abreu just destroying everything.
No.
Other than that, though, I mean, the
last decade plus, nothing.
Nothing.
The one thing I really remember was the home run derby when Josh Hamilton put up like 25 home runs in the first round, and that's what you remember. And he didn't win, but that was the signature moment of that All-Star game and home run derby was just Hamilton, and that was in Yankee Stadium. And
not the game. It wasn't the game itself. It's just all the other pomp and circumstance, which, again, great, but not in the games. Because again, because I know the Fox Crew cards, when he has this contest, it's like pick the All-Star MVP. And I don't know if it was last year, 2 years ago, as a fucking catcher for like Colorado. Like the last catcher I can tell you from Colorado is like Ben Petrick.
Yeah.
And that's 15, 20 years ago. So I'm like, I have no idea. So is that dude really an all-star? Probably not.
He was the Colorado Rockies representative that year.
But that's
to me, they need to do away with that.
Yep.
If you don't have anybody that's worthy of being there, you don't get to go.
Yeah. Yeah, like this year for the Rockies or whatever, 18-60. You don't need anybody. There's nobody doing anything for your team.
No.
I'm sure there was a couple other just shitbag teams too, but it's like, and it should be, again, stat driven. I don't care. Okay, let's say Cal Raleigh's playing in the Rockies and he's got 30 home runs. He deserves to go. That's a fucking insane year. A year at the break, but I don't need to have somebody batting like 240, 8 home runs.
You might want to lower that because that might be leading the league this year.
It's a possibility.
I think last year the number of 300 hitters was single digits. That's absurd. And it's embarrassing.
It used to be you'd have like 20, 25 total, maybe 30, and then you'd have like last year, 318 leads the league. It's like that wouldn't even be top 10.
No.
I mean, if you had somebody near the top of like batting 318, it's like, well, what happened to Tony Gwynn this year? Where's Edgar Martinez? What happened to him? I mean,
yeah, I think maybe there shouldn't be batting champions. The qualification has to be 325 or better. Otherwise, they just don't award it this year.
Yeah, it feels like, again, participation trophy. I batted 308 and I won the batting title. Well,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Principal pat on the back? I don't know. I mean, what do you? what do you want? I mean,
It's, the art of hitting is dying.
yeah, there's a lot of batters that are.
Now, but I do know a part of that is the fact that everybody throws so hard now. And you might see a starter. If you're lucky, you'll see the starting pitcher 3 times in a game. But a lot of teams now, your third time up to bat, you're on the first or second middle reliever.
Yeah, there's because again, it's not like it used to be when you're either complete games, you're pitching into the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, even the long ball, that's the thing. Big donkey for fucking the Reds and then the White Sox and the Nationals before he completely fell off.
Mm-hmm.
He'd still bat just over 200. But he'd hit 46, 48 home runs, Adam Dunn.
Yeah, and his on base percentage would be like 340, 360.
Yeah. And he's the nicest guy in the world.
No.
I love that.
And I'm sure I've probably said it before on the podcast that Adam Dunn is Tim Kurkjian's favorite player in baseball history. He loves Adam Dunn because his numbers are absurd when you look at them because they just don't make sense.
He was a good ball player.
Yeah, he could mash.
Well, tonight I think Skeens went like 8 innings. Then we went up. Pirates went up 1-0. It had the 4 screens on Major League Baseball Network where you watch 4 games. Well, they went to the Pirates and they were 0-0 in I think the 8th inning, and then we went up 1-0. And then Skeens was out, so he couldn't get the win. But we won 1-0, and we gunned some dude out at the plate, and it was fabulous. I love that kind of stuff. I love the old time bang, and there was some miraculous play, and it was the couple what I could watch in a little box on a TV. It was pretty good. Because the last time I watched them, they got their skulls cracked in like 7-0.
That was against the Brewers flamethrower Jacob Mizorowski.
Yeah, I think they lost 14-0.
I don't think. I don't remember what the score was. I just knew that Mizorowski outdueled him.
Yeah, starting pitchers. They're
a number that's crazy, and if I'm not mistaken, Paul Skeens hasn't even given up 25 earned runs in his career so far, and he has what does he have, like 4 wins this year?
Amen. I know that.
But yeah, he's given up like under 25 earned runs. Only one team scored 5 runs against him, and that was the Cardinals last year, I think.
The last pitcher to throw 200 or more innings in a single Major League Baseball season was Logan Webb, 204 2/3 innings, and Seth Lugo, 206 2/3 innings last year. So 2 guys in the whole friggin' major leagues threw over 200.
That's awful.
It's just crazy.
Because you used to have Verlander, Kershaw.
Yeah. Yep. I was about to say those 2 exact names.
And Zach Wheeler also reached 200 innings. Well, why didn't you have him in the statement there, AI? In 2019, 15 pitchers. They're the Swedish. They're Norwegian. They're Norwegian like Bob. In 2019, 15 did it again. Pitchers reached the 200 inning mark. In contrast, the 2024 season saw only 4 pitchers. Again, you named 3 of them. Who's the effing 4th? So why don't you name all 4 of them? Judas Priest. They started with 2, then they gave you 1 more. That their 4th one's a freaking secret.
Yeah.
Let's see. Zach Wheeler, Seth Lugo, Logan Webb, and Logan Gilbert.
Yeah, and Logan Gilbert's had a fucking horrible year because he's been hurt 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay,
Who's
let's one it
is
up.
Webb still pitching for the Giants?
If he is, I don't even know if he's. I don't know if I've seen him at all this year. Amongst like the looking through box scores. Again, I'm not a Giants fan, or I think the only time I look is if Verlander's pitching, and I want to see what he's doing. But I don't even know if he's pitched.
Who was the last pitcher to pitch 300 innings and win?
Oh, fuck, that's 30 years ago, at least 40.
300 innings?
300 innings.
Randy Johnson?
Nope.
The guy for the Astros. Not Mike Scott, not Nolan Ryan. It's the black guy. I can't think of his name.
No.
70.
It's not the 70s. It was more recent. He was a Philadelphia Philly.
And it wouldn't be Randy Wolf. Steve Carlton.
Yes. The last pitcher to throw 300 innings, Steve Carlton, pitched 304 innings in 1980. So let's go to 250. It's become a trivia game.
Yeah.
Who is the last pitcher to pitch 250 innings?
I don't think Maddox will.
Verlander didn't get to 250 at any point.
Jeff, proving
Right.
me wrong.
Was it Verlander?
It's Verlander, but
Yeah.
what year?
Oh shit, I don't know.
I'll say like 11 or
I'm gonna
12.
guess a Cy Young year.
The last pitcher to throw 250 or more innings in a single Major League Baseball season, according to the AI overview of Google, was Justin Verlander, who pitched 251 innings in 2011.
Was it for the Astros or was it for the Tigers? Tigers.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was still been the Tigers that time.
He was still with the Tigers because
Yeah.
I just moved here in 2010, 2011. So I came in July of 2010. So Verlander was here because then Scherzer came in, and we were just so good. It was coming from the Pirates, and then you got to adopt the friggin' Detroit Tigers, and they were friggin' loaded.
They were, and they just didn't keep it together.
Yeah. Brandon Inge was there, who I loved. He could play just about any position.
Miggy was playing first.
Yeah.
That would have been JD, would have been there too.
Yeah, JDM.
He was I think it was
Castellanos came along shortly after that, or right around there.
I forget if I think it was all three of those guys were at the Red Wings game behind my kid.
Yeah,
I know Mick was one of them, but I couldn't remember if it's JD Martinez in the picture or Nick Castellanos. I think it's JD Martinez. And they were sitting right behind my kid. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. That was like when cell phones were, a potato. The picture wasn't as crisp.
Bigfoot.
Yep.
Greg Maddux pitched over 200 innings, 91 through 1995. So think of that gap. There's like 15 years.
Randy pitched a lot of seasons over 200, and I think he even did it into his 40s there with Arizona.
Total innings pitched leader. We know that's Cy Young. It's 7,356 innings.
Yeah.
And the only people that were alive in our time, Phil Niekro is number 4 at 53.86. Gable Perry is at 53.50. Oh, Nolan Ryan's 5, 53.86.
Yeah. Well, he pitched to what? Was it 43 or 44?
Yeah, if you're pitching from 68 or 69 until 92, 93, I mean, you're pitching in parts of 4 decades.
How many innings in one season do you think the most innings pitched was?
Oh, it's got to be over 600.
It's under.
I'd say like 380.
The most is by Ed Walsh in the 1908 Chicago White Sox. He pitched 464 innings.
Ooh.
I don't even know how. Ed Walsh, Jack Chesborough, New York Highlanders. They're not even the Yankees. Joe McGinty, Ed Walsh, Vic Willis, Joe McGinty, again on the list. Ed Walsh again, Dave Davenport, Christy Matheson. That's the first dude that I really know, and Jack Powell. And they're over 390 innings. That's where the list ends at number 10.
That's great. How many complete games did Cy Young throw? Was that the number I'm thinking of in 600?
Okay, hold on. Let's see what that is. I got my keyboard. I found it again. And it clicks so nice. League games in MLB history. I am not a robot. No shit, I'm not a robot. There's a bicycle. There's a bicycle.
Oh God.
There's a motorcycle. Here's a motorcycle.
The captchas or whatever they are.
There's another bike.
I'm a human. Just fucking let me look at the
Fucking
numbers.
traffic light. Judas Priest. Here's a motorcycle. Here's a bus.
Cy Young had 749 complete games.
Yeah, it's easier to just Google it on your phone. Judas Priest. I don't know what that was.
He's the only player to surpass 700 complete games, with Pud Galvin being second with 646. No active pitcher has yet reached even 30 career complete games.
I was going to say, I want to know, like, anybody in the last 20 years. It can't be much.
No.
It's a thing of the past. Nobody lets their pitchers go that far.
Have a good night.
Later, Hodges. It's like once you get to like 90 pitches, people are very, very cautious. I'm like, I get it, but at the same time, that should be part of your fucking training regimen if you are getting paid what you're getting paid. I mean, it doesn't make sense not to set your pitcher to do more than like 6 innings. I know Blyleven, when he was on the commentary for the Twins, would just go apeshit that. Like, why are we pulling him? He's at 82 pitches in the ending the 6th. He's allowed 2 hits, 1 walk, and like 7 Ks. The other team can't figure him out.
Remember when Edwin Jackson had 140 some odd pitch no hitter?
That was what, for Tampa?
Yeah. It was like 146 pitches or something crazy like that. And I remember AJ Burnett's no hitter. He had like 7 or 8 walks.
Yeah, AJ Burnett. Oh,
I loved AJ Burnett. He's one of my favorites.
From that era of Marlins, which I so glowingly remember, the Derek Lee, Todd Dunwoody, Mark Kotsing, Mike Lowell, Antonio Alfonseca, 6 Fingers.
Yep.
Brad Penny. I mean, oh yeah, that. And then Burnett too. That was one of the first guys I think you saw with like a ton of tattoos.
Yeah.
It obviously helped him pitch because I mean, he'd either have like an 8-inning, 13K outing, or he'd be like 2 2/3, 12 hits, 11 earned, 4 walks. Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah. He's one of my all-time favorites. I just loved watching that guy pitch. Even when he went to the Yankees, I still watched him pitch. I feel like was he on the 09 championship team maybe with the Yankees?
Might have been.
I'm trying to remember who was on that. I know A-Rod was on that team. I'm not sure if Clemens was or not.
I don't think Abreu. I think he had went to the Angels by then.
Yeah.
He was on there in 06 and 07, or at least trade deadline 06.
Barnett was there.
Was he? Nice. He just I don't know. For me, he just reminded me of Favre. He had those characteristics, those traits, where you're gonna watch him pitch. He's gonna do some awesome stuff and he's gonna do some bad things, but there's gonna be electric in there somewhere.
When he's on, he's on. When he's off, oh,
Yep.
He's the Amish in electricity. They don't.
Oh man.
So we discuss some top fives.
Sure.
That's what I hated about the Yankees drafting Judge. Again, not knowing that he's going to be some awesome player now, but when you see whatever 6'5", 230 at Fresno, and I'm like, come on, Twins, you're right there. You pass on Trout, you pass on Judge. You want to get like shitbags like Levi Michael, who bat half of my weight in Double-A, and then they retire. Just take a chance on some fucking college productivity. So yeah, seeing him go to the Yankees, I'm just like, here we go again. Somehow this will work out for him.
Yeah, and he is turned into a machine. I mean, he's video game numbers. Because I think he's still hitting, 360-ish?
Yeah, he's one of the last ones, besides like Array or Luis Ariz. But again, that's somebody that's like, he's going to punch in Judy's and play left field. I mean, he's not roping doubles to the gap.
No, we talked about that.
Yeah.
We talked about him a couple weeks ago, where his average is high and he's going to have a bunch of hits, but they are just hollow numbers. He doesn't score runs. He doesn't steal bases. He doesn't knock people in. He just he gets on base. He definitely does that. But
Aaron Judge is batting .354. He's first in home runs with 30, second in RBIs with 67, fourth in OPS with 1.175.
Fourth in OPS. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't imagine Cal Raleigh's passed him on that. Maybe he has.
I wouldn't think he is, but who else is raking like that?
I'm getting it now. Let's see. 2020 regular season, year to date. I don't want that. I want individual stats. Stats in baseball, some outstandings. Players. There we go. No, it's not what I want either. It's not what you said you were going to give me. Never go to the Major League Baseball. Go to friggin'
Go to ESPN.
batting.
OPS. See, it's showing Judge number 1.
Well, that
Judge-
could have been out of date info.
Yeah, Judge is 1188 OPS. Cal Raleigh is 1036. Otani is 1021. Will Smith is 945.
Yeah, Will Smith's raking.
Yep. And I have the next 3 guys, 5, 6, and 7 are all on my team. James Wood, Kyle Tucker, and Pete Alonso.
I like Pete.
Me too. I love that guy.
He's just a good all-around human being.
James Wood that guy's a star in the making.
I think I've got him 4 of my 5, and in the one league I've got Raleigh, Smith, and Wood.
Whew.
And I'm still doing horrible because my pitching is crap.
Wow, there's a lot of freaking Tigers on this list.
I'm sitting in first place. I'm 11-3 on the season. Pitching has done really well for me this year. My team is not hitting home runs at all, but they're doing enough with stolen bases and runs and doubles to hold me there. But they're not hitting home runs. But I've got Scooble. I've had him this is my 3rd year having him. That guy is incredible.
It's sad that he ain't going to make it past this year with the Tigers because that's going to be serious money for him.
Yep. Tonight I had 2 guys score really good for me. DeGrom is back to form. And
That's good to hear.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal this year. His ERA he's 9-2 with 100 strikeouts and a 2.13 ERA. Pitching down there in Texas. But Boyd for Chicago, the Cubs, he pitched good for me tonight.
Oh yeah, he pitched good today. Yeah.
Yep.
He was a Tiger. He was good.
Yep. He beat Cleveland tonight. But I've also got Schwellenbach, who is tearing it up. And then I've got the old Jesus Lizard, Jesus Luzardo, who he's been having some AJ Burnett in him this year.
Ooh, yeah.
He gave up 20 earned runs in 2 consecutive starts. He gave up 12 and 8. But he's also struck out double digits 5 times this year so far.
Yeah, I think he's a free agent in one of my leagues, and I've looked and I'm like, I had him for 1 start against the White Sox, and he blew up at like the beginning of May. I'm like, I can't trust that as much as I want to, but like Nola has been a disaster.
Yeah,
Chris Sale was good, but now he's probably out for. I can't imagine him coming back if he got broken ribs after diving that one game. Strider's been okay. I've got Skeens in a league or 2. I got Scooble in a league or 2.
that was a big mess up for me. I had Skeens on my bench. I picked him up before he ever made his big league debut. I added him the year he was drafted. I picked him up, and I ended up dropping him for one reason or another. I can't remember what it was. And then, yeah, I would like to have him back. But at the same time, he's not scoring points because he's not getting wins because his team sucks.
I think if if he does well, the Tigers do well. What's his name? Is Illich still own them?
Yeah, the son runs it.
I don't think they let him go. I think they'd pay him. They saw what Verlander did for the team. Even if you start fading away and doing trashy, be part with them.
They're probably going to have to pay him $5,250.
Yeah.
But the thing with it is, is the son don't spend money like the daddy did. Because remember, they own the Red Wings and they own the Tigers. So they kind of split it up. And what I just came across my screen is Alex Delvecchio passed away today at 93.
I saw that earlier. Yeah.
That sucks. But 93, that's pretty good. And the Red Wings signed Kane to a 1-year deal.
I saw that.
They signed Boker to a 1-year deal. Yeah, exactly, Jeff. Chris Illich, he ain't like Daddy. Daddy would spend the money because he knew at the end of the day he'd make it back. And even if he didn't make the huge profit that he did, he was okay with the winning team. Sonny Boy is the bottom line is the moolah. So therein lies the problem because Illich would fork over money and he was happy. Oh, I made $700 million this year between my two sports franchises. But the son, I mean, he spends money, but he doesn't spend daddy's money. It's a different amount going out.
Here's some. I just seen this headline. Red Panda got injured at WNBA game tonight. Are you guys familiar with the Red Panda?
No, I thought you were talking about somebody in mixed martial arts there for a second.
No, it's the woman who rides the unicycle that's 8 foot off the ground and does all the juggling with plates, and she's super incredibly talented and been doing it for a long time. Yeah, apparently she fell tonight at the halftime show.
Oh, that ain't no good right there.
No, she fell and hurt her wrist. They said she didn't lose consciousness, but she was not able to walk off on her own power off the court.
Well, I'd rather have my noggin okay and a broken bone or two.
Yeah. I've just never this has got to be the first time she's gotten hurt. I've never because she's been around a lot of years. That's crazy. That actually made ESPN's top headlines.
Holy
Must be a slow night.
Oh, the Penguin or the Red Wings signed JVR too today for $875,000 for a 1-year deal. No, for $1 million, and then Jacob Bernard Docker for $875,000 from Buffalo.
Ugh.
And then you were so gracious, and you traded Tarasenko to the Wild.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yesterday. Keandre Miller went to the Hurricanes, traded him there.
Corey Perry is to the LA Kings.
Brock Besser re-signing with the Canucks was
I just seen that.
confusing.
Christian Dvorak to Philadelphia from the Canadiens.
Like the weird part, because I was watching some of that TSN stuff earlier, because I like some of their coverage. I'm like, but you're making such a big deal about second line, third line, second pairing, third pairing players. I'm like, I don't care if somebody signs like a 3-year, $8 million contract. That's, again, you need those glue guys, but holy crap, this isn't like a Marner trade. And I know it's not going to be all that stuff going on, but pretty much making a mountain out of a molehill. Like, hey, this guy signed a 1-year, $1.2 million contract. And, I mean, report it and move on. It doesn't need like 10 minutes of my time.
Yeah. The Wild signed Nico Sturm.
That would have been good like 10 years ago.
Kraken signed Matt Murray. Ooh. Lars Ellers to the Senators. Who else here? Vitek Vichak to the Mammoth.
Elias is still a free agent.
Justin Brazeau from the Wild.
Yeah, again, like
He went to the Penguins.
such incredibly poignant signings. I'm like,
The Penguins got to Mario's got to get them back before they tank. That guy that they got running as GM, he's just he drafted mostly D-men because we need them, but we need them now. We don't need them in the future. I think he took decent D-men in the draft, but Eric Carlson, as great a hockey player as he is, he got burned last year so many times. And Letang should have been he's almost like he's like that fourth winger or third winger on a power play at defense. He's just not I don't know what he lost, but he can't back check like he used to. Great hockey player, but it's I don't know. I don't want to criticize Letang because he gave everything he had on the ice. So when it comes to these shortcomings at a age of 38, I think he's 38. You know, yeah, Kyle Dubas is a disaster. He just, I just, even when you look at him, he just has this air of ignorance to him, and it's like shut up, just shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Because anything you're going to say is you're going to try to make it sound like you're brilliant, and you're not. Because you signed Eric Carlson should be gone. If he's not, they trade him for something. And I don't know who would want him. He just doesn't have. He could be a winger now, but he's not a D man. He just don't have it in him.
the Bucks buying out Damian Lillard.
Yes, he does, Jeff.
That was a pretty shocking thing.
And then signing Miles Turner.
Uh-huh. From what I understand, Giannis is not happy. He's not unhappy to be getting Miles Turner, but I guess he's very upset that they cut Lillard. But I mean, Lillard's not going to play next year.
No.
So basically what they did was they cut him and they can spread that $113 million over 5 years that they're eating the rest of the contract, which allowed them to go get Miles Turner. But I thought it was, I mean, they got Bobby Portis back again. I'm like, you don't need to get the band back together.
No, because obviously you're not running it back from a championship, so you need to sprinkle in some new stuff.
Yep.
And I don't think they're going to pick for the next 8 years, I bet.
Yeah, they don't have a first round pick, I think, until 29 or 30. To
No,
me,
everything's gone.
If I were them,
they got him, but it's Portland's got pick swaps. I think I read in 2030, 29 goes to them. Mm-hmm. And then second rounders, I don't think they've got anything at all.
I would honestly be trading Giannis to the highest bidder.
Yeah, I would not be. Somebody
Obviously,
else.
You want to. I mean, I get why you would want to keep him. He is one of the best players in the world. He won you a championship, but I think if you don't, there's going to be resentment there, wasting his years, and then it's going to be an ugly divorce where he's demanding a trade, and you're not going to get much back because teams know that you're in a spot where you got to move him.
Yep.
To me, I would be moving him right now. As soon as Lillard went down,
that's when my phone line.
Yep, that's what I would have done.
Yeah, because again, and then try to jump the trend when Because again, if let's say Denver tanks Joker, I mean, I don't know how anybody's going to afford anybody, but you got to think at some point if I'm sniffing around Miami, that would be the where I'd go. Like I'd want again, not that I'd want, but if you're looking at players, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, get some picks. Just again, you're probably not going to get what you want or what was going on 2-3 years ago.
No, but you could compete with those guys.
Yes,
They're young enough and talented enough.
yeah, you're not just getting picks and picks and picks and completely untapped talent. It's like, and then maybe again, if you get a bunch of picks, maybe you then, hey, Charlotte sucks. Maybe we trade for Brandon Miller. We trade for LaMelo Ball. We trade for somebody else, and who knows? But again, if I'm betting on somebody winning the title this year, it's not even close to being Milwaukee, even with Boston being fucked in the East. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. So
I bet you there's a lot of teams trying to get Jaylen Brown right now.
there's a lot of chatter about Utah trying to, because they got Ainge's kid out there running it, and Ainge is out there doing stuff. So, but yeah, some of these trade things I've seen for like basketball, it's like, why would you give up 4 or 5 picks and 3 and 4 players for like LeBron for 1 year at like 40? Why? That just say that out loud. If that sounds ridiculous,
I'm surprised the Suns got anything for Durant.
reading some of those rumors, it's like, oh, Rudy Gobert, DiVincenzo, and Rob Dillingham. I'm like, so you gave up 2 first rounds or 1 first in like 2031 to Spurs to get Dillingham, so you're going to get rid of him right away. I get getting out of Gobert, but Durant's 37. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
and to me, the Rockets gave up a pretty decent package to get Durant. I think the Suns did well in that deal.
But for Houston too, I know they're sort of like New York or the Nets, but better, a lot better, obviously. But they got a lot of picks, so it's like, okay, we're not going to be able to plop some of this talent in. If we've got Reed Shepherd at number 3 or 4 last year, they still have Whitmore, which I think that at some point he'll get moved out. And you got people that are talented, you're not even going to fucking play. So
Well,
getting rid of Dylan Brooks, that doesn't do much for me. I don't care.
no. Was Jalen Green the other guy?
Jalen Green, I like him, but he, as everybody saw, he disappeared in the playoffs. And you give picks, which great, but it's picks.
Yeah.
It's not a guarantee. So,
No, especially in the NBA.
Christ, yeah.
They have 2 rounds, and most of the time, there aren't 2 rounds worth of players there good enough to pick.
No, you're picking somebody from fucking Bosnia Herzegovina to draft and stash, and maybe they'll come over in the next Mayflower in 2029 or something.
What's wrong with Bosnia Herzegovina?
I didn't say anything was wrong with it.
But that's where you're looking. You're not looking to the college players.
No, I'm not looking for some dude on Duke that scored 8 points a game. I'm like, I'd
No.
rather have somebody that's 18 over there that, hey, he's 6'10", can shoot threes, has decent vision, and can dribble. Okay.
He's been playing with grown men since he was 15 on the national team.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll let you sit over there for a few years and take my chances.
No.
Especially at like pick 52, which I don't need somebody from Boise State. I think that's not going to be exciting.
Yeah, because odds are they're going to be better than Yi Jinlian.
Yeah, any of these goofy 7'5", 7'6", 300-pound centers that have like 2 feet of mobility.
Or worse, they're 7'5" and weigh 135.
But they can dunk.
Well, I should hope so. You're eye level with the rim.
Should we now get to the top 5? Not talk about free. Which again, good to talk about that because a lot going on there. But NHL, it wasn't, again, other than Marner, nothing of like insane moving consequence. Keandre Miller, that sort of moves the needle, but basically everybody else stayed put. So
Yeah, the Florida managed to re-sign Marchand. So
yeah. So Vincenzo, number 5.
I'm gonna do a Steve and not go until like 3 or so because I it was one of them days, and no,
Okay, Fred Durst.
thank you. Fireworks. We'll just end it. We'll start with the most obvious, the good stuff, the stuff from China that came over in the 1980s that would take your finger off and put something in the sky that was so beautiful you just said, wow. There you go. 5 fireworks.
Michael.
I talked about it earlier. Family reunion was always a big deal on 4th of July for us. And along with that was the family softball game. That was so much fun.
Steve?
These are going to be in no particular order. Because if not, it's going to be the same answer for everybody.
It's our Mexican food one. Same thing.
At least there was some difference.
Yes.
I'm going to go with actually Man in the Grill. I actually enjoy grilling. No matter if it was for family or neighbors or whatever. I'll be doing it this Friday. So cooking on the grill.
There you go.
Again, I'll go no particular order as well because, again, just some variety. And when it's warm out, it's nicer. But swimming, it's usually the start of the swimming season up here. Because, again, the lakes take about a month to warm up, and you come out of May, and again, the ice comes off, so it's starting to turn over. June, you hope it's a little warmer, ratchet up some of those temperatures. And not that I swim a ton, I'm very buoyant, so the one place is out about 10, 15 miles out of town. It's just great. Usually no people. Water looks like iced tea, and there's a little current because it's like a river into a lake. Perfect where it's warm, and then if you're like, it's too warm, go another 5 feet. Feel that cold current going, good. So swimming. Vincenzo.
The fact that you don't have to work. There's one for you.
Yeah.
And to be thankful we live in America.
The 3-day weekend. It's a beautiful thing.
There will be no honorable mentions this week. Yes, everyone be thankful.
I've got 5 days.
Nice.
I have 3.5, but it's a weird 3.5. I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Go to work until noon on Monday. It makes no sense whatsoever. But for me, I don't really have a list that's left, so I'm just going to 1 through 4. Food, whether I'm cooking or eating it.
That was actually going to be my next one because I talked about manning the grill.
Right.
So that I'm going to have to go with like it's the food. You know, it's typically it's burgers and dogs and brats, or uh, not that it's elaborate or anything along those lines, but that's the best food for the occasion because it's fast. It's usually good. Usually,
And grabbing the sodas out of the coolers.
I don't know what that is because I haven't really drank one, and I drink Sprite and stuff, but like Coke, Dr Pepper, Pepsi, like I couldn't tell you the last time I really had one outside of a mixed drink. And as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't really count. But yeah, just the food. Corn on the cob off the grill is one of the best things on July 4th. And we're talking fresh corn on the cob
Mm-hmm.
where you spend all the time soaking it and then freaking God, it's a pain in the ass, but man, is it so good.
Yep. That's one of my wife's favorite things is when I grill corn. Because sometimes I'll do the soaking and the husks and everything, but other times I'll take it off the husk. I will literally take the corn completely covered in butter, roll it in seasoning, put it in foil, throw it on the grill. And that's her favorite one. That's like her favorite thing that I make. And it's so simple.
I will just go grilling right now too. I like, again, and if you saw all 4 of us, it wouldn't be a shock. This isn't something. Again, Norm Macdonald. We're not telling any tales out of school. Again, we fucking eat and we eat a lot.
I want to eat food and blow shit up. That's what the 4th of July is.
It's again, I like. I've seen the regular burgers we have for sale. They'll take like a frozen, the big tube, and just cut little slabs off. But I like getting the fresh burger, putting the seasoning in there, hand rolling it, little medium rare. I like for like the camping. We haven't done for the 4th, but like the Boy Scout meal, tin foil, dice up potatoes, carrots, burger. Trying to think what else is in there. Seasonings, butter. I mean, it's just you want to talk about a good hot meal. Put that in the packet of aluminum foil and quality. And again, yeah, bratwurst, always a barbecue chicken. So grilling is fun. Vincenzo.
Church league softball. Growing up, we used to have a July 4th one every once in a while, or just going up to there was a little league baseball diamond at the top of the hill where my uncle's brother owned all the property. So he owned that and he let the city use the baseball field. But we basically go on it when we wanted and just play baseball. And life was simple. We weren't adulting then. And anytime when you don't have to adult, just good times.
Amen.
Michael.
I gave the rest of mine.
Food was 1 through 4. So I'll circle back to what Vinny said in fireworks. Growing up, it was always going and watching them. one of the cities, local cities. It's pretty much a tradition. July 3rd, one of the bigger ones in North Texas, so it was pretty much an annual tradition. And then it got to the point to where basically you couldn't even get down there to even watch them. So we had the advantage where my brother-in-law worked at a local business right off we'll call it the main drag, to where family members could go and park at their place of business and watch them, and they grill out and stuff like that. And of course, as I got older, there was the local one in Carrollton, and where I used to work, they shot them off right behind our building. So another situation: go up to work and watch the fireworks fairly close, which is probably the best way to see them, because then you're not like missing some of the lower ones. I mean, I watched one of the subdivisions a couple nights ago from the parking lot out here. But of course, as I got older and when I first moved out to Aubrey, of course, the better thing was shooting them off. Expensive as shit, but nothing better than actually getting to shoot off the mortars and enjoy it. Dave.
I'll go back to as a kid. I don't know if you guys had it down your way or not. Sawdust piles with the coins in it. So they
You have us intrigued.
Yeah.
get like a couple tarps. You have like age brackets, because again, you can't have like, it's like 10, 12-year-olds going against like 4 or 5-year-olds. So they put like silver in there. There might be like a couple 50-cent pieces, but there's quarters, nickels, dimes. So you're sitting there, it's just a huge pile of sawdust, and you got X amount of minutes. It's like supermarket sweep. You got 2 minutes, minute and a half, whatever it is, to go through there and find all the coins you can. And again, you're just covered in sawdust. But
I say this sounds itchy.
I don't remember it being itchy as a kid, just because again the payoff. I mean, you find like $7-8. That's like not a Lego set, the bottom shelf one, but that's like a little car or whatever, and
Oh yeah.
maybe like a Oasis Lego set, or how many packs of cards or something of that, some candy. Again, to get that though, that was always one of my favorite things, because it just, I don't know, free money for digging in fucking sawdust. I would have dug in dirt for it, so
Yeah.
that's free money. So it seems to be like a northern Minnesota thing, obviously. That
Yeah, that I've never heard of anything like it. I wish they would have had it. I would have done it.
a chance for free money, and you don't have to do something ridiculous, or
I don't have to eat anything.
yeah, like here, have a can of oysters or sardines, and you get $5. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't want to puke or shit for the next day and a half.
I'm not kidding. If somebody put down a thing of a can of smoked oysters and $100 bill in front of me, I would say no, thank you.
I'd be like, okay, thanks.
That's
Thanks
like
for the $100, because I ate
Yeah.
the shit out of smoked oysters.
I buy them for my mom's husband. I get him smoked oysters, sardines and hot sauce, and all kinds of different things. He likes that stuff. I can't do any of it.
But the smoked oysters have to be in oil.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I remember that from one of the shows that back when that was a positive, but it was like same thing like tuna, oil or water. Same, it has to be specific.
Yeah.
Vincenzo.
No work.
You already said that.
I'm saying it again.
Again, that's, believe it or not, that's not on my list.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Just like when everybody comes in the store, oh, I'm so glad it's Friday. Fuck does that mean? You're speaking Hebrew to me. I can't figure this out right now. Please.
Well, I won't rub it in your face like Vinny did twice about having
Yes,
to.
no work.
These I'll actually say are not in any particular. These are actually in particular order.
Okay.
Number 2, the drinking. There's nothing better than hanging by the grill, having a few beers. As long as it's not 105 degrees outside and 30% humidity, all is good. Which this Friday actually isn't supposed to be, which is, I think, a first here in North Texas, to where it's not going to be hotter than hell. But yeah, grilling and drinking. I think it's supposed to be like 95 last I checked.
I'm looking at mine because I'm not sure what we're supposed to be. Friday is mostly sunny and 90. I'll take that.
Oh, 87 for us.
Nice. Now, starting Saturday through next Wednesday, we have chances of rain.
Well, Thursday and Friday night. Well, Thursday we have rain chances all day, and then Friday it's in the evening. But yeah, like 87 degrees on July 4th in North Texas, like that's unfucking heard
I was going to
of.
say, that is unheard of. That seems about 20 degrees low.
Like the highest this week, it's showing 93, and that's Saturday. So like, I'll fucking take it when I can get it. So
Hell yeah.
but yeah, drinking and it's all about drinking while grilling. It's like, if that's the only thing I have to drink on July 4th while I'm grilling, which will probably be 2 or 3 at least, because my neighbors, like, we're actually doing something in the old neighborhood, and I was asked to man the grill, which is normally what I do anyways. The only difference is I don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You haven't been gone long enough for them to not invite you.
Well, I'm in the neighborhood every Friday night anyways. I go and visit with my neighbors across the street every Friday.
Nice.
And then the other guy that lives across the street, so like there's across the street and then there's across the street. So I go visit with them across the street every Friday night. That doesn't apply for this Friday because the whole neighborhood's together. The other neighbor that was actually directly across the street, we actually go and play disc golf on Saturday now, every Saturday morning. So I actually see him more since I've left the neighborhood than I did living there. Go figure.
Huh.
Not complaining. Dave?
I will also go food, obviously, not just the grilling aspect. Potato salad, always a tasty treat. Corn on the cob. I'm not much for like the summery type salads, so I don't like more like the fruit salad types. I'm like, I can do without. Tuna salad though, I will eat that until I puke because I fucking love tuna salad. But yeah, chips, dip, fresh fruit, peaches and nectarines. I don't know if I'll be able to do those anymore. Last year I had some peaches and nectarines, and both times, and plums too. My throat said, "Hey, what's going on here?" I could feel that thing starting to. I'm like, good. That why can't this be with like candy and chips? Where the throat
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah, why won't my body reject the stuff I shouldn't be eating?
Come on now. So, yeah, just the smorgasbord of good stuff that, again, it tastes better sitting out on a picnic table for a couple hours and a little chew to those chips and that humidity. Everybody loves that. So I get the French onion dip.
That's why the food's being set up inside this go around.
Oh, and ice cream too. It's like ice cream cones or like Mr. Freezies or popsicles.
Yeah, I was about to say Mr. Freezes. Yeah.
Like that. That is also food. So I need
And
to be
less flies, by the way.
Hmm?
Less flies when the food's on the inside.
That is correct. Flies are horse shit. Vincenzo.
Every year, either on July 4th or Memorial Day or Labor Day, one of the three, whenever my uncle could be home, we had probably 100 to 200 people come in throughout a 12-hour day of a hog or a lamb roast. And my uncle had a spit made that my grandfather used to man with my dad, and they would cook a whole hog or a whole lamb. We'd have steaks, hot dogs, hamburgers, baked potatoes, and God knows what else kind of desserts and food and spaghetti and all kinds of stuff. And every year it was once a year, and we did that probably through 1990, maybe 2 or 3. And then once I went into high school, we didn't do it as much, and then we stopped altogether. And friggin' like that, I missed it. It was a lot of work to prepare for it. Even as a kid, we'd help out, do all the stuff, but getting to see everybody. I mean, people would come in and stay at hotels for days just to, hang out for one day at my aunt's house. And it was the one time where you got to see a lot of the family you liked. Most of the people we didn't like stayed away. So it was all right. I just remember that was always July 4th type of deal. And it was nice. Family, friends, people that people worked with, got to know a lot of people. It was good. It was good times, good memories. Moving on. See, no honorable mentions. Great.
I'm going to take that as more food because that kind of takes away from my number one with the other stuff. Spending time family with friends, hanging out, conversing, prime opportunity to actually feel like you can carry on conversations where you're not rushed. Because, like, in this situation, nobody's having to get up and go to work on Saturday. Sorry, Dave. For most of the people who are invited, but just being able to sit down, eat some good food, but then to also just sit there and hang out and have good conversation. So, spending time with friends and family would be my number one. Dave?
You think that's going to be my number one?
No,
That's right.
because you hate people.
That's right.
They are awful.
Spending time with Trista, yeah. Then we're going to do something next weekend because her birthday's on Thursday. So I believe we're going to go to Bayfield and enjoy the Wisconsin side of Lake Superior in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So I took time off then because I'm like, I don't care. But number one, absolutely, completely opposite of this spending time with family, friends, conversing. What? Sleeping.
Yes.
When I get back from like it's because it always happens to seem to like fall on a freight day. So I gotta do freight. So when I'm done. The absolute last thing I want to do is go to a parade, go be around because again, our parades are. I think I've shown you pictures of like the paper and like a look down Main Street with how many people are there. It's not just like a piddling crap. There are fucking. There's got to be probably 10,000 people in town for this parade. Because again, they throw tons of shit out, tons. Uh, my wonderful place of employment has thrown out women's underwear, chili powder, pepper, um, boxes of cereal, bags of chips. God, I mean, there's tons of stuff over the years. And so then you start spreading that word of mouth. Oh, what are they going to do this year? What's going to happen? Well, if you really need to come to a parade, get a free thing of 99-cent pepper. I mean, more power to you, but that's not what I'm about. And there's just so many people, and we've had some rough weather on the 4th of July. If you want to Google it, go up to like July 4th, 1999, Ely, Minnesota, or BWCA blowdown. Like straight line winds of, like what I was telling in the group chat, like in Bemidji, 100-mile-an-hour straight line winds knocking down miles of trees on 4th of July. So luckily it was like right after I guess the parade had ended. So there's a plus, but I don't want to be outside in weather when we've got two things in town that are getting like torn up road wise. One of them is like partial parade route. So they've got to cut like 4 blocks out, and 2 of those blocks are the most heavily populated. And then there's another part in town too. So it's like, where are you going to park? I don't want to be sitting there if there's bad weather 3-4 blocks away from my vehicle. Like, what am I going to do? Run under a tree in a thunderstorm? Come on now. Didn't Smokey the Bear teach you anything? So, yeah, parades, I love the candy, but I also love sleep, like 1,000 times more. And I know where everybody's going to be, so I can just, like, come home, take a shower, go to sleep, be done. Naomi's even like, this year she'll be working on the 4th at the ice cream shop, and she's like, I'm glad I have to work. I don't want to be around her mother and like the relatives, and it's like maybe we'll get good tips there. And I said, if it's warm, you guys are gonna be fucking swamped. I mean, it's gonna be a stressful day for you, but hopefully it'll pay off for like tip wise. You'll get like a ton. But like it's when your kid looks forward to working so she doesn't have to deal with people. She my kid? What do you say, Maury? Yes. I am the father, so yes, I enjoyed hearing that because I said it's fun when you're a little kid, but then you start getting older, and if all that and being around all those people, because you have drunks, you got unruly kids, you got parents that want to just talk with their friends. It's the fucking parent. It's just too many mixes of like chaos. So screw parades. Other than like the color guard, saluting them, and we got veterans. I'm always a part of that, but all the other shit, I'm like, I don't want to get squirted with a squirt gun. If you want to squirt me with a squirt gun, a rock will come back at you. Like that's I didn't sign up for that. If I want to go, I will go swim. If I want to be wet or go take a shower or a bath We're going to kiddie pools somewhere. So sleep, long, short, everything. After that busy week too, because it's usually when it falls on like near the end of the week, it's like that week, like last year was just a utter nightmare with the all class reunion the same week as 4th of July. There was more people than I ever want to see in my life. I'd rather go to the National and deal with all the special characters there than deal with that again, because that was the worst. A completely overwhelming feeling like I can't get down any aisles because there's that many people everywhere. Like, no. So, 4th of July, fun holiday. I can't wait to work. I don't have. I do. Well, I do have the option. But that's plus I get paid 8 hours of holiday pay. So again, as you guys probably in some capacity do too. But
Yeah, what's that?
I used to work 4th of July when I was single. When they said, "Hey, do you want to work the 4th of July to support Canada?" I said anything for my Canadian brethren. And today is Canada Day, so, or was it yesterday? One of these. Yeah. So happy Canada Day to all our watchers in Canada, because sometimes I feel we have more of those than most. I couldn't remember if it was today is sort of a blur. I went to bed at 3. I woke up at 5:20, and I was out the door at 6, and went to the office. Came home, passed out for an hour, and then worked till I came home. So
Any retail space, food based, there's no such thing as holiday pay. So, and I'm on salary, so it doesn't fucking matter even if I fucking worked it or not.
I was hourly back then. It was nice. You got it was nice. That's all I have to say.
Well, it depends on the company's policy because it could be double time and a half. It could be,
Time and a half.
usually they up it if it's a holiday, but at a minimum, you should be getting time and a half just for that day.
Well, there wasn't a lot of Canadians calling in, so I wasn't very busy. So, and the thing was, you weren't those days. I only took I didn't need breaks and stuff. I only took 5 minutes to eat a bag of chips. I brought them back to my desk, which you weren't allowed to do. But I was acting supervisor, so really didn't care. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If they asked for it, and the money was good. Now my time's too valuable because I'm old, and I work enough during the week and weekends and nights.
Which you should stop all of them.
Yeah. But our Dave, I was thinking about you. We went to Kroger last night, and they have from the whole deli section and all the eggs and the milk and all that stuff, all the way across the top of them. They now have balloons, not like normal round balloons. They have all the Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Baby Shark, Bluey, all those kind of things blown up. that you can buy at Kroger. And I said, that would be festive at Dave's store. I'm sure he
Don't
would
give
right on that.
Don't give the dumb boss any ideas.
Yeah. The Spider-Man one was like, it was almost like holofoil. It was like when it hit the light, it was crazy cool looking. And it was like $22.50. I'm like, I told Meredith, I said, for that, could you imagine how much fun my grandkid would have for that for like 4 or 5 days? And if it's helium that they put in, depending if it's helium or what they put in, if they put nitrogen gas in it, those things could last for 2 or 3 weeks. I said, for $20, that's a pretty good deal there. I like it. But I digress. It's Vinny's random story for today. Because that's where I am. I have my Christmas sarcasm shirt on. I came home, took all my dress clothes off, and I was like, I want to be a bum for like 3 hours. And I passed out. I mean, I laid in bed and Cece was telling me something, and I'm like, and I was out. And then Meredith's like, do you realize it's 4:20? I'm like, oh. Because I got home at like 3 and I passed out for like 40 minutes. I didn't even know where I was. I was like, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, naps are good. If anybody says naps are bad, I don't trust them.
Yeah,
No.
they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer if you want to work a 16-hour day, somewhere in there you take an hour nap, and that 16-hour day is like cake. I don't know why, but I used to do it in college. I'd wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go to work or wake up at 5, be at work by 6, have my classes in the morning, go home, take a nap, go back to work, and even a half hour, boom, done. That half hour is like 10-minute what was it? The Japanese power nap they used to talk about. Got all popular when I was in college.
Like
Same here.
That shit works.
It does. I got really good at it to where I could take an 8 to 10 minute nap and it felt like I'd been sleeping a couple hours.
Yep.
I was doing that. I would get off work. I would go home. I would take that power nap, and then because I took night classes
Yeah.
time. Yeah, power napping worked great. Now, the wife and I take naps every Saturday and Sunday. Family nap time. We go lay down, and I sleep for about 3 to 4 hours, and she sleeps for about an hour and a half because the dog will get her up.
That's Trista will sleep for 10 minutes and I'll sleep for 2 days. I'm like, I don't know how you can do that. I can't. Well, if I do that 10-minute shit or half hour, I feel like I haven't got sleep for like a week.
Now I'm like that.
Like, I've got to be like, I need time. I need time to sleep.
It's draining.
I just got a message from Grant. Dinner he's eating right now out in Vegas. Rick Harrison's in the table next to him from Pawn Stars.
Nice. No one called a dog.
Seems to have a lot of luck in those situations too. He just stumbles across people.
Yeah, because I remember he was at the Peppermill Casino, I believe it was. Well, no, he was. Oh no, it was when he was in Atlantic City for the National. He was playing craps with Allen Iverson.
That's something that doesn't happen every day.
No,
it's like when my uncle sat down in a plane from first class,
Mhm.
and he was kind of reading his book, and he was in the inside seat, and a gentleman sits down and he turns to his right, and it's Muhammad Ali.
Holy shit.
And and that was when Ali was all there. And
Mhm.
he said he shook my uncle's hand, and he said his hand was just massive. And then another time he was same situation. He was sitting in the thing, he started reading his book, and this girl sits down, and it was Mary Lou Retton,
Huh.
the gymnast.
Yeah. Better run into her on a plane than on the road these days.
I was gonna say, hopefully they weren't comping drinks.
Yeah.
He seems to enjoy
Should
rehydrating.
use a little bit of the booze and then a little bit of time behind the wheel.
Yeah. She wants
Was
to go on
not
the
aware of that little
driving simulator.
He met all kinds of people. Most famous person I met, I was coming home from the cities to DTW, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, that's freaking Kirk Maltby. I know that's Kirk Maltby because he was a good hockey player. And there was a tournament. Like I was in Minnesota for 2 weeks for work, and I was coming home. I was drained, and it was a Saturday, and I was with some of my buddies from Germany, and they were going on international flights. So I got Chick-fil-A, and I ate, and then I went up to the gate. It was Saturday morning, and I thought Chris Chelios was there too. I saw this other guy that looked like Chelios. It probably was, but there was this tournament at the hotel I was at for, I don't know if it was Minnesota, but all I know is for 2 weeks, all we had was hockey players in the hotel, and every hotel in town was jam packed. And so I 90% chance that was Kirk Maltby, because even when I got home and I was walking off the plane and I saw him at baggage claim, I'm like, that's Kirk Maltby. That's about the extent of mine.
I got the death stare from Bobby Knight. We were sitting in the restaurant at the Doubletree there in Chicago, sitting there, and he came walking in to have dinner and made eye contact. And I said, "Hello, sir." And he just looked at me like I was the biggest piece of shit on earth and kept going. And then funniest interaction was with Lawrence Taylor. Because
I met him too.
Yep, Lawrence Taylor, and then Pete Rose. He was just sitting in a couch down in the lobby of the waiting area there at the hotel.
LT was at a steak place, Logan Steakhouse, and I looked at my wife. I'm like, that's freaking LT. My kids are like, who's LT? I'm like, Lawrence freaking Taylor, the monster. Look at his ear. It's how I was like, just look at his ear. And my daughter's like, what do you mean, look at his ear? I said, right there's going to be a lightning bolt.
Yep, the LT lightning bolt.
Yep,
in the left ear.
And then
arguably the greatest football player of all time. He's on that short list that you can make an argument for.
He was a beast.
Yeah. Or as it says on my 16 by 20 right there, I'm a bad motherfucker.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I got it signed. Let's see if. Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, that is cool.
Yep.
Who's that below it? Pierre?
It's Nate Diaz.
Oh, Nate Diaz. He's a bad effort too.
That was after he beat Conor McGregor.
What was it? The one Diaz brother, they go, did you get picked on when you were a kid? He goes, no. They go, well, why? He's like, you know who my older brother is?
Yeah.
He would have killed him.
Yeah, that Nate Diaz says that about his brother Nick.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. Nate's younger, Nick's older.
Yep.
Shelby met what's his name, who runs the UFC.
Dana White.
Yeah, she worked for after she worked for the lieutenant colonel. She worked for another guy, and they went out to Vegas, and they go, "Well, we're going to Dana White's house." She's like, "Who's Dana White?" And then she texts me and who's Dana White? I'm like, he owns the friggin' UFC. You're going to be hobnobbing with UFC fighters. Yeah. So the daughter was something big out there, and they went to Dana White's house. She said it was absolutely insane.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's not going to live in like a trailer.
I was trying to think. Meredith had lunch with Steve Eiserman. That was a big one. Like one of her people she worked with, she goes, "Hey, do you want to go to work or go to lunch with Steve Eiserman today? He's a friend of mine." She's like, "No, no, I don't." She didn't. She looks at him. She
Fuck
goes,
the Red Wings.
"Yeah, you're my husband's second favorite hockey player," and he goes, "Pray tell." Because I've never been told that. Usually you would say, she goes, "You were his favorite until Mario got drafted." And then she explained, he goes, "Now I understand." But Lemieux and Eiserman, and that's one of the failing things of my hobby collecting is not having enough Eisermans. And
I love his signature. He takes up the whole card.
yeah, I have to work on that in the upcoming months. But after I lost that silhouette, I haven't bought anything but Christmas stuff. And
What did that silhouette end up going for?
For something, it went reasonable. It was a little over 500 Canadian.
That's not bad.
And if I wasn't in the middle of doing a bunch of junk, I had to buy a new lawnmower and I bought a new weed whipper. So I got it same as cash, but I hate to not have that money to pay it off. And something else went. Oh, my vacuum cleaner went bad. And Meredith's like, "Oh, you just donated money and bought a new Shark vacuum." I had one for years, and then I gave it to my daughter. And then I bought just the cheapest Bissell. Well, Bissell and dog hair, even though they say it's for dog hair, she's like, "That is the loudest vacuum I've ever heard in my entire life." So somebody pulls up to the house, and I'm like, "Who the heck's this?" And I just watch them carry this big box. I'm like, "What the hell did she order?" And it was it's nice. It's really tall too. So, and it's got suction, and it's got one of them things that you can do the pet hair on the couch when you have the shedding machines that I've had in my life. It's pretty nice. But
Dave's about to fall asleep.
And I've just had no hobby enthusiasm at all.
Well,
Of all days, Vinny.
if the better half says,
Yeah, sorry. That's why I'm sorry.
if the better half says, "Well, the vacuum's allowed," to be like, "Well, I don't believe they've got a spot where you can like test drive the vacuum."
Yeah.
They don't have suppressors for vacuums. But it was abnormally loud for a vacuum. It was the loudest vacuum I've ever had. I don't remember it starting out that way, and I checked all the hoses, I checked all the underneath, I checked everything, and I don't know why it's loud. It doesn't have anything stuck in it. I don't know if the motor went, and I've only had it a year, so.
Maybe it's so when you're operating it, you can't hear nagging from the wife or the kids.
That's a possibility. But C's the one that does the vacuum most of the time. But
Yeah, there wouldn't be so much nagging if somebody was in the kitchen cooking a sandwich.
I actually made dinner tonight. Like
I make dinner 99% of the nights.
she's like, "I want French toast and sausage links." I'm like,
Hell
Here's
yeah.
the loaf of bread. Here's the sausage.
She's like, what the hell are you doing? She's like,
Yeah.
there's like a scratching noise. She couldn't figure out what it was. I didn't have any like cinnamon that was ground,
Let's see.
but we had cinnamon sticks for that Haley must have bought and
Cider.
and stuff. So I was sitting there. I have a little grater, and I was grating cinnamon into the thing, and she ate them. And she was like, "That was some damn good French toast." I said, "Well," I said, "that's cinnamon sticks." And did you ever see the butter they sell now for Texas Roadhouse?
Yeah, the cinnamon butter.
I buy the cinnamon butter and I buy the baked potato butter. But I took the cinnamon butter and I whipped it up, and then I put it inside the thing. And then when she likes butter on her, and she like butter on her pancakes and her waffles and her French toast, which I don't. I never did that. I slathered that shit on, and she's like, "This is pretty good." I said, "I'm surprised you could taste it with 4 pounds of syrup on it." Would you like some French toast with your syrup? And I only buy Log Cabin, even though they hate it, or they like Mrs. Butterworth or one of the other ones better. I'm a Log Cabin guy. Damn it.
Junk.
I used to keep it in the fridge. They won't let me keep it in the fridge. I would open it and then put it in the fridge, but they keep theirs. It's like
No, we keep ours in the cabinet.
Yeah, ours is in the cabinet.
Ugh.
Potato.
Yeah.
Wrapping.
And with that,
Good Lord, that scared me.
yes, thank you all for watching. Hopefully you learned something. If you didn't, too bad. Have a safe 4th of July. Don't be dumb. Remember, let go of the fireworks. Don't be, again, Jason Pierre-Paul. So, Michael, Vincenzo, Steve, I'm Dave. This has been the IRP. Remember, collecting cards is a wonderful hobby. But the friendships you forge along the way, that's what really matters. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Night.